7:30 Central Time on NBC. Captain Nice, champion of justice.
It's some nut in his underwear.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
His paintings redefined comic book heroes. His vision inspired a generation. The Legend of Kingdom Come is the definitive documentary on Alex Ross, known as the Norman Rockwell of comics.
It almost looked like Renaissance paintings, except for superheroes.
He makes them look like Olympian gods.
We go behind the scenes of his definitive graphic novel, Kingdom Come, now on Blu-ray, packed with exclusive interviews and unseen artwork. Order today at legendofkingdomcome.com.
If you're here at Word Balloon, it's because you like comics, creators, conversation, pop culture subjects. Would you consider joining the League of Word Balloon Listeners? Patreon.com/wordballoon. For just $3 a month or more, you'll get exclusive access to the Word Balloon e-magazine, featuring transcriptions of some of my best conversations. When you subscribe, you'll also be part of the Word Balloon Book Club, where Brian Michael Bendis and I will pick a comic every month to review and discuss live with the League on this show. Join the League today, patreon.com/wordballoon. Thank you always for your support, League of Word Balloon listeners. Welcome back, everybody. Time again for Word Balloon, the comic book conversation show. John Suntress with you. Look who's joining us from Anthony's Comic Book Art. It's Anthony himself, Anthony Snyder. Good to see you, man.
You are looking live at North Jersey, just minutes away from MetLife Stadium, Giant Stadium. Oh, my God. I've been suffering through that season this year.
You know, as son of the Greek, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know from our previous conversations, along with his wonderful career that he's established on himself, Anthony is a Nepo baby. Not really. But he is Jimmy the Greek's son, which delights me to no end, being Greek and being a guy that came from sports for 20 years. So,
Right.
Yeah, talk to me about this. How's the season treating you, Anthony, the football season?
Oh, my God. Miserably. So, okay. So my dad was best friends with Al Davis. So when I was growing up in Las Vegas, I was a big Raider fan. We would go to all the Raider events and sit with Al Davis, and it was I was like, wow. And then the very first Super Bowl I ever went to was the '77 John Madden Raiders versus Vikings Super Bowl, and we were sitting on bleachers, and this guy sitting in front of me was Lamar Hunt. So
wow,
that's the kind of seats we had.
The Lamar Hunt, everybody from the Kansas City Chiefs, correct?
Yes. Well, he basically
sure. I'm a little rusty, man.
He started the AFL.
Yes, absolutely, man. Well, and of course Al Davis and the Raiders, big part of the AFL as well.
Yeah. So, and then he worked the deal for the merger and everything like that. So, and the family, the son is still owning and general manager, partner, whatever, of the Chiefs. So,
absolutely.
Then when he got the job with CBS, as don't forget, well, you may not know that he started a sports column that put out the Vegas line and it went out to like, I don't know. I think the high mark was, he had several hundred, newspapers.
Yes.
And,
this is when, and for younger people, this is when literally there was a newspaper in every town. And Anthony's father, Jimmy the Greek, was the gambling expert. And it was very, and forgive me for interrupting you, Anthony, but this was, I really want to give context for people that may not know your father and his wonderful history, his amazing history, that, betting now is so easy and literally on your phone or on your computer, whatever you want, you could do it. Things were a lot not easy. And there really was almost frowning on gambling on professional sports. Yet the newspapers knew the appeal was there. And Mr. Snyder Jimmy the Greek was this incredible man who was an odds maker and the odds maker internationally, I would say, not only nationally.
Well, he's the one that basically popularized the Las Vegas line and the point spread into the country, basically. So he was an established sports writer and did content on sports and politics. He was very into politics. He was more than just into politics. He was a Republican. What's the right word?
Fundraiser, maybe, or sponsor, or like a delegate, maybe. Was he ever a delegate in Nevada?
No.
I don't know that. All right, so kind of.
I think the word is fixer, where he would be the intermediary between big time mob guys and the FBI and stuff.
Oh, nice. Oh, jeez.
Bagman, that kind of stuff. And
I wait a minute, Anthony. I talked over you. So give me that adjective again. What was he? He was a
fixer.
A fixer.
He
was a fixer. Wow.
He would be given objectives through the like Senator Laxalt was always around. Senator Laxalt was the senior senator from Nevada during that period, and he was best friends with Reagan because they were neighbors. When Reagan was governor of California, and and there was a small political run after Reagan for Senator Laxalt, but it didn't take hold for president. But the Laxalts were always around. He had a brother that was a huge lobbyist and such like that. And, things got done through him with his connections to the guys that built Las Vegas.
Sure. Absolutely, man. No, it is what
my
it is.
middle name is Clark, and it has nothing to do with looking like Superman when I was a kid. It has to do with Wilbur Clark's Desert Inn, and he was my godfather, and he was a real godfather. So that that's back in the day, the history of it. So okay, so when they put together the NFL Today show, and they did just run a 50th anniversary special with Brent on the set, and they really did my dad justice. I couldn't believe it.
Excellent.
I could maybe get it up on my phone and we can just play it on there. Is that okay?
Well, no, I think I might get dinged from a copyright standpoint. So respectfully, I will ask you not to do that. But I absolutely will drive people, because likely on Paramount Plus, it's probably there.
It was the 50th. It was the 50th anniversary show with Brent Musburger, and they talked.
Was Phyllis on it?
Huh?
Was Phyllis on it, or has she passed away?
No, she's gone.
Oh, she did pass away.
Yeah.
Her wonderful daughter, Pamela Brown, one of the CNN news anchors.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my dad introduced them. He always told the story about, hey, okay, this is what he always used to say. You're a bitch and he's a bastard. You guys should get married. And they did. And they had kids. But Phyllis was always a sweetheart with me. I have nothing but fond memories. And at the 30 for 30, the Paley Center premiere, she came to that, and Irv did too. He was still
that's great.
Living. And the best thing I said, she was just enamored by my beautiful, charming wife, Sharon. And I said to her, don't worry, Phyllis, everything I learned how not to treat women, I learned from my dad. And she was like, oh my God, I'm so happy to hear you say that, because he was the way he was. I don't know. He was from a different generation. He was born.
Yes.
Born in a different time. Let's put it that way. But he was the Greek, and he was my dad. But the thing I disliked most about my father was him as a husband. Let's put it that way. So.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
Yeah.
Well, I hope your mom, was able to cope as best as she could, and my sympathy.
She could cope with it as long as he wasn't around.
I understand. Yeah. Well, but again, Jimmy the Greek really started the betting national thing where it was acceptable, but very much again with a lot of rules, a lot of handcuffs. I point people to that 30 for 30 Jimmy the Greek documentary to really see. And my God, I mean, the way that betting is just part of the game now astounds me, given our age.
I can drive 10 minutes to the Meadowlands lot on the other side of the racetrack, and there's a FanDuel betting parlor, or I don't know what you call it.
That's right.
It's huge, and you can go and put any kind of action in. When I was betting over there a couple years ago, I just kind of laid off it because how volatile the NFL is. Because that's the only thing I really want to study. That I only have the wherewithal to study because I'm so busy with my businesses. Because I literally, technically I have like 5 businesses. I have the art website. I have which is it's the biggest art website in the country for original comic book art by volume. And I try to cater to all budgets. So there's stuff on there from $20 to right now. I think my most expensive piece is like $65,000. So, and then there's the eBay store where we have 165,000 listings on there. So it's one of the bigger eBay stores in the country. And then I have a 10,000 square foot warehouse. I have a small store, and then we do shows, and then live shows like San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, where I have the biggest presence at those type of shows. Chicago, I have a great setup there. North Carolina, Connecticut, Baltimore, the bigger shows. And then I do my streaming shows where, with Comic Art Fans and Bill Cox, we've done, 200-300 streaming shows where I've done, I think, over $3 million of business online with streaming like that. And then I do my own Instagram shows with a different host, and we're getting off to a good start. We've done 6 figures of stuff in like 5 shows. So
beautiful.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my business. But let's see. The last point I wanted to make was the fact that my dad was, had an established sports column, and when they were formulating the NFL Today, the first year they were on, it was just Brant and Phyllis and Irv, which was fine. But then when they added the Greek, it took off, and the whole betting element and him having to talk around the point spread, and Pete Rozelle wanting to minimize the gambling aspect of his sports information, segment. Let's put it that way. And he'd talk about, I like him by a field goal, or I like him, by a touchdown, or, he could never talk the numbers, even though he was, his business back in the day was that of a bookmaker. Okay, so in Ohio, he was a bookmaker. In Vegas, he moved out and opened his own book. And then basically it was when the Stardust, which was called the Tangiers in the movie Casino, when they opened their own sports book like that, the guy that was running the Stardust locally, which is a little Jewish guy, accountant from Chicago. And you can tell me why that was true. Why was that? Why was he a little Jewish guy from Chicago?
Well, the Chicago mob had their hands in Vegas, had their fingers in Vegas.
And what money was that?
You tell me.
That was the Capone money. So
there you go.
Yeah, all the little accountants knew where all that money was, and that's how they shipped it back and forth.
Well, it was about 20 years after Capone, but still, maybe it was the Nitti mob, because Frank Nitti, ran it until like 49 or something like that. But absolutely, man. You see, I know our 50s and 60s mobsters, Tony the Big Tuna of Cardo and Sam Momo Giancana. We had a. You'll forgive me, Anthony, because I really want to say this, because I love talking about mob history. Because I mean, my God, like it or not, folks, they built America just like the captains of industry. They were captains of their industry. That's just the facts. That's just the way it was.
They
And
built
we
Las
all knew it.
Vegas,
And
and they built other things too. There was
Yes.
a certain family that is a very famous name, but I'll refrain from saying it. But they built all those strip malls all across the country, and
Sure.
then they got involved with the NFL. And there was a certain guy. There was a lot of.
Hey, are you kidding? Something is what seemingly is innocent as jukeboxes in bars and restaurants. That was all mob controlled.
Mhm.
And to the point where there was a singer in the 60s. I love these tangents, Anthony. This is why I like talking to you, man. We're of the same generation. We know all this stuff. I don't know if you remember this woman. She used to be on all the TV variety shows. Carol Lawrence.
Yeah, I remember her.
Brunette, lovely voice. Well, she was connected to some mobster, like a mobster's daughter, but she had talent. But literally, it's in the book, everybody, by The Outfit by Gus Russo, one of the best books about the history of the mob's doings throughout the decades. They would have people go into bars and put in quarters and play Carol Lawrence things to keep her records popular, because that is how the record companies would gauge if they wanted to continue to make albums with people. Oh, how many jukebox places? Hey, look at Carol Lawrence. Wow, she's got 50 plays in that joint. Okay, we'll keep contracting. We'll make another album with her. So again, captains of their own industry. That's the only point I'm making here. But I was going to ask, isn't it sad and ironic? I don't know about the one by the Meadowlands, the gambling joint by you, but baseball, the last batch in Wrigley Field. There is a DraftKings lounge in Wrigley Field, and I know that's the case in a lot of stadiums across the country. Again, that's fine.
Well, yeah, and they put that stuff right in there with the NBA, and they wonder why they're having problems. My old man, he always used to say, like gambling should stay in Vegas because you go there for a week once a year, and you get it out of your system, and it's not going to affect your life otherwise. And
no professional teams, So that's a clean city. Okay, fine. But now, as you said, if people, again, we're talking to nerds, so I don't know how much they're aware of some of the recent sports scandals, but literally point shaving in basketball and pitchers purposely throwing bad pitches or affecting an inning in baseball, because you can literally bet on every pitch.
Yeah, the live betting is, I've never gotten into live betting. It's like I got to sit there and concentrate and work that hard the whole game. What the next pitch is. And I know sports. I played football into college. I played basketball into college. I was a two-sport athlete, played both ways in football. And that's how I got hurt. It's like I hit a guy so hard my sophomore year that I stress fractured a vertebrae in my neck. And
shit, man.
Yeah. So, but the final point is that he was right there in Vegas, and the guy who was running the Stardust offered him the sports book in the Stardust, and he turned it down because he didn't want to be owned by the mob. Once he went in with that, and then Lefty Rosenthal, the Robert De Niro character, did take that job, and that's what the movie's about. And he ended up going to prison, but he and my dad were rivals. He never had anything nice to say about my old man. And so that's the way it goes. But my dad, his day job after the sports books, situation, because Robert Kennedy actually indicted him, and he lost his gaming license because so when he was Attorney General, he was like trying to, his dad did the deal with Giancana, right? And
Joe Kennedy, yes, indeed, absolutely.
And there's supposed to be a quid pro quo going on, and instead Robert went after them instead of laying off them. I know this because I used to hear about these stories. Oh, Robert Kennedy's the biggest piece of shit that ever came out of a woman's body and stuff like that, because there was absolute betrayal there. Now, so my dad lost his gaming license, so he couldn't run his own sports book. So he became the PR director. He opened Caesar's Palace as the PR director, and he opened the Tropicana as a PR director. And I remember during that opening event, Sammy Davis Jr. was there, and I was a little kid.
Hey, man.
Hey, man. So we were about the same size, and he said to me, "Hey, man, we must have the same tailor," because I was just a little kid. I must have been like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, and that
Hilarious.
Fantastic. And, I still remember that. That was great. I still remember that 6-foot blonde next to him, his wife. But
Mike Britt, the beautiful Swedish star. Absolutely.
So that was his day job. He was a PR director in promotions. And one of the most famous things he ever did was he brought Evel Knievel in to Caesar's Palace to jump the fountains to promote the location.
Yeah.
What else did he do? Well, he did the Bobby Riggs versus Billie Jean King Battle of the Sexes. He helped produce that. And I think that was his idea. And these are some things, these moments of genius that he did have. And then he co-created the World Series of Poker with the Binions, and he named it, and everything. And I tried to talk to an IP lawyer about that one since it's gotten so big in the past 20 years, but they're like, "Oh, it's been too long." And
I'm sorry, man. But again, it was so weird. He was the king of the kingdom and yet denied. And now again, man, I can only imagine what his life would be like today if he was a little younger and then still, the age he was in the 70s, if you put it today, goddamn 50 years, basically our age.
He got that job in 77, so that with CBS. Okay. So then we moved to the East Coast, and I became a giant Yankee fan. So that's why. Look, I wrapped it all up for you. Put a bow on.
But wait, I got one more thing because I'm curious. Because as you said, you still are interested in football and everything. And it's legal. It's okay. But do you feel? Did he pass on any sort of game awareness knowledge to you that you could apply in looking at things today? Or is it, or was it really fixed?
I had a better education as a player because I did play offense, defense, and both ways.
Sure.
And my instincts for the game, when I pay attention, I can make educated bets. But if I'm not going to pay attention, if I'm not going to put the time in, a couple of years ago we did try to start a podcast with. A couple of friends of mine brought me in to talk football with Pepper Johnson, Giants legend. But as a player, a Giants legend, but he coached with Belichick for maybe 10 years. So he kind of was more of a New England guy. But I held my own. I can talk football.
I just wondered if the fact, and again, maybe it was obviously paying attention to those teams at that moment rather than any sort of universal, thing that he passed on to you. You know what I mean?
Well, being around, his gambling, which was, pervasive, he had the sickness. His disease, got him famous, and it was all part of his, not just, it was so much a part of his self, his identity, his public identity, and he got famous for it, and there was never letting it go. On the other hand, I'm sober. I have a sober approach to it. I do have the gambling bug in me. I want to gamble. I'll gamble on anything, but I just try to compartmentalize it. And maybe, 2-3 times a month I go and I play poker, and I play, pot limit Omaha against a bunch of professionals. I play mixed games against professionals. And honestly, the pot limit Omaha game, I'm a winner in, but the mixed game against these pros, I'm not. It's tough. But it's just a matter of testing my mettle against professional level because all these guys I'm playing against are playing professionally. That means that the money that they're risking and playing with is like that's their
work. That's their career.
Yeah.
I'm
And for me, it's like a couple $1,000 buy-in. It's like if I take a beat, which I did the last time I played, I took the worst beat you ever wanted to hear. But you
don't bet more than you can afford to lose, essentially.
No,
is that a fair way to say it?
It's not going to hurt me. And if I bust out, I leave.
Yeah.
I don't chase that money. If I'm running that night, I go. So
no, my history in boxing, covering it and everything. So I feel like I know the sport. And every now and then there might be a fight that I'm interested in, but I never bet more than I'll afford to lose. And literally, I'm a $5 better. I always was at the track, for that matter, and horses, and I did pretty good at the track over the years. But again, it's like no, I don't want to be that way, and I certainly don't want to get in that habit. And I know I've heard the stories, and I know you've heard the stories of guys dropping 5 figures, in an hour or something like that, or even more maybe.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, hell, I knew about the Jordan situation, with the Slim Buller stuff and everything, which is public information.
Is that the golfing situation in North Carolina?
Yes, it is. Yeah, and really, it's just part of Jordan's character. Oh yeah, he makes these 6-figure bets all the time. Yeah.
Well, I knew a guy that was playing because I came out of North Carolina. My dad had a house in Durham, and I knew a guy who knew guys that he was playing with, and they were betting like $50,000 a hole. So it's like,
yep.
And then the rumor gets extrapolated in, like maybe he stiffed him, and maybe that led to trouble. I don't want
the conspiracy talk. And no, and I agree with you, and that's not where I'm going. I'm just saying Jordan is a high stakes player, and it's very public knowledge that he's a high stakes player.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, it is again, Anthony, isn't it interesting? Compare Jordan and having to sit out. I love that we're going on this tangent. Compare Jordan and the fact he had to sit out from the NBA for a couple years, so he retired. BS. David Stern said, you got to go away for a while because this is a really ugly scandal. Compare that to Otani and the Dodgers. And I'm sorry.
Yeah. Let's just brush this under the rug. You were betting millions, and it's like.
Well, no, it wasn't him, Anthony. It was just his assistant that was doing it.
Dude,
give me a break.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
I'm telling you, man.
Was running. Just like I was 10 years old and couldn't see over a betting teller window, I was running bets for my dad. That's who, this guy was running bets for Antony,
100%, man. But Anthony, let's go from Pete Rose. Well, even before that, in the 60s, you had Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle as greeters at casinos. I'm sure you know this and everything. And they were suspended.
Did it too. In the early, Ernie Grunfeld was one, I think. And
who else did you? Nick who?
Ernie Grunfeld. Remember Ernie?
Prior to that, did you name another name or no?
What, as a host? The guys that were
another athlete that was a host, a a casino. I mean, I know Sonny Liston was at Caesars in his final, or no, Joe Louis was. Excuse me, in his final years. I knew about that, but that's different. He was already retired. But no, I do know for baseball, they penalized Mays and Mantle for briefly being greeters, and they had to quit. And that's whatever. So go from that to Pete Rose being, excised from baseball, to Jordan and the NBA, and where are we today with Otani and all the BS today? Give me a break. No integrity in professional sports. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're just
yeah.
They don't. That guy's worth more than what he was doing. And so
Otani, absolutely.
They're gonna just brush it under the rug, and so he's the best player in the sport. And
my God, yes, absolutely, he is.
Well,
he proved it this season. But again, it's just I can't deny. It's like okay, and also, hey, maybe, and I really don't know in Japan. Maybe it's legal in Japan. Maybe they can do it in Japan. I honestly don't know. So
I don't know. I don't think so. I think they're pretty strict there, but I don't know.
Maybe it was just a system that he had going since Japan. I have no idea. But regardless, I appreciate the tangents, Anthony. I always love talking about your father. I really have tremendous respect for him. and what he was able to accomplish.
Well, it's
And
career,
yeah.
It's amazing. So there's the 30 for 30 that's out there, The Legend of Jimmy the Greek, that I helped produce. And I'm actually on it more than anybody else talking about him. And what else should we steer people towards? Well,
you said this, the NFL Today special, and maybe, like I said, I'm reasonably certain that if Paramount Plus has to have it, they put any big special that CBS does is on Paramount Plus.
Well, it was on the regular NFL Today show as a 50-year special with Brent Musburger. And Brent, I think Brent kind of regretted the way he left my dad dangle in the wind when he, when the shit hit the fan.
When the controversy happened. People can look it up if you don't know what we're talking about.
He towed the company line, and but then he went on to be the sports information guy in Vegas. It's like it kind of turned full circle. And I spent an hour talking with him on his show one time when I was passing through Vegas. I heard he had a show at the Southgate, I think it was. And I went over there and said hi to him, and we got along great. He was very nice.
Good.
Yeah. And so there was a big influence there of how my dad affected the actual culture and gambling and such, and promoting events. So there are things I am proud of him for in that regard in his career. So
absolutely, like I said, man, your dad was of a different era, and unfortunately, the culture was shifting literally under his feet, and that's a shame because again, it shouldn't negate the fascinating career that he had. And again, like it or not, folks, it's since Cain bet on Abel or vice versa or whatever, I suppose Adam bet on Cain, or rather Abel, because who died? No, Abel died. So he bet on Cain. I'm sure he had money on Cain.
Cain killed Abel.
Jesus. All right. Excellent tangent, Anthony. Now, but today, Anthony bets on comics. I have a feeling when we retitling.
Well, see, that's how I tricked myself. Instead of being a gambler and just going through all my money on this or that, as far as what sports was running or what track was running, because my dad's whole lifestyle was based on which racetrack was running, whether it was here up in New York or Belmont and Aqueduct, Gulfstream, that sort of thing. So we had residences. Saratoga. I spent so many Augusts of my childhood in Saratoga, and that's where he does have if we want to talk about more about my dad's career. I mean, Mike Francesa started as my dad's assistant and helping him write his column, and the whole works. And then Brent met Mike and realized how smart he was, and like fundamentally like smart, like X's and O's and retaining, and Brent brought him into CBS, and and he went on to become the #1 sports talk guy in the country, bar none.
Mikey the Mad Dog, absolutely, man. We knew him well here in Chicago. Believe me, we knew Francesa and of course Russo. No, absolutely, those guys. Again, your dad had a fascinating career. But was it being out of all the different towns? Is that part of the reason why you gravitated towards comics? What got you into comics back in the day?
Okay, so
sounds like something's paying off for you, by the way. When you're
no, that's that's an eBay store. But
nice, even better, Anthony. No, leave it up. That's okay. You're making money while you're talking to me. That's fine.
So I did have a career in New York City, where I came to New York. I spent a couple years in Europe, and I came back, and I was trying to make a career for myself as a photographer in commercial advertising. And I was making progress there, and my wife Sharon was modeling. And she was, we were both, working along with that. And then I became, I was a producer and a casting director. And when she turned 25, she really grew into herself and her look. And she did a huge liquor She was the Tanqueray Sterling vodka girl, and then cigarettes when cigarettes were still allowed to be advertised. So she had 2 different jobs where she had billboards in Times Square. And then I was doing my own jobs up until 9/11. So 9/11, not at 9 o'clock on 9/11, I was around the corner from the World Trade Center.
Wow.
And yeah, and the world changed, and it was bad. So I was on a job down there, and you know, I had to get out, and it really changed everything. I was a working photographer that day, and after that I wasn't. And so I had built up some pretty crazy artwork that I've been buying because I was making a living as a photographer and paying my bills as a photographer and buying this house as a photographer. It was the art and comics were a side hustle. Now I loved the art and I was investing in it. Like I had the entire X-Men 8 book, you know, that I had bought with the only $30,000 I ever had at that moment. You know, and I had the Spidey 59 cover that I bought at the time with the only $11,000 I had, you know. So, but when I stopped making a living as a photographer, that's when I had to build the business of art and comic books and the eBay store to make a living and pay the bills. So a lot of that had to do with taking my personal collection of stuff like the X-Men 8 book, which I wish I could have kept, and the Spidey 59 cover, and I wish I could have kept, you know, and a lot of other like significant pieces that, you know, I think an example of that is that at the Art of Marvel exhibit, there was like 7 or 8 things that I used to own in that exhibit that they were showing as, oh, this is the great example of this, you know, this genre of Marvel art or this character. Like,
sure,
I owned the Hulk 180 cover at one time, which was the first cameo appearance of Wolverine. You know, but I sold it. I had to keep moving stuff and selling stuff to keep building the business, paying the bills, you know, and getting a location and now labor and rent and all that stuff. You know, I have a gigantic albatross around my neck as far as the bills, but I have the cash flow. You know, I've built up, you know, millions of dollars of inventory, but I have to sell off that inventory to pay my bills on a monthly basis. So that's the key. But if 9/11 wouldn't have happened, you know, I probably wouldn't be so active and hustling because I had millions of dollars of stuff, you know, as a personal collection. But that was you know, really mitigated by having to sell stuff and keep things moving over the past 25 years.
But I give you credit for making the adjustment and also having I don't even know what the right word, but essentially that as much as you appreciate the high end stuff you have, that you are willing to let it go. And are there still jewels in the crown that you know, there's no way in hell or that you wouldn't part with, or are you realistic about your stuff and saying, no, this is my business, not my hobby anymore?
It's more and more my business. And, you know, like the stuff that I kept and that I wanted, you know, to look at was more about stuff that I remembered from when I was 10, 11, 12 years old and reading comics, reading those 20-cent Marvels.
Bronze Age.
Bronze Age stuff, because I was born in 64 and so 74 was like my prime time Marvel, you know, reading comics. And so I have the love. You know, at 11 years old, I don't know, I don't have it here. Oh no, I think it's at work. But I went to a Stan Lee lecture at UNLV when he was doing his college lecture circuit, and he signed my ticket, and I still have it. He signed a $1 bill for me. I didn't bring a comic for him to sign for some reason, but so I was in the front row with a microphone and I recorded it. And I remember when you open the floor to questions, I hear this squeaky little voice go, why did you cancel Not Brand Eck? Because I thought that was funny. So I thought that was a funny book. And
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, it just wasn't circulating well. So I'm like, yeah.
Do you still have your tape of when you did
Yeah,
that?
I do.
Oh,
I need
Anthony,
to find
you gotta digitize that and put it on a new channel, man.
Yeah, somebody I've been working with a reality show producer the past few years, and he's been trying to sell the show of me at my spot, and then Mike Carbonaro as the vagabond, and he did it for me, and I got to find it in my office. But
okay,
he made a CD of it, and yeah, it's cool. It's like part of that. No one else was doing it. No one else was recording it. There wasn't a video camera in the back or anything, But yeah, it was Stan's lecture. So I have the love, from the beginning for the source material that I make my living with. Yeah, I do have that love. I'm not just a guy that flips stuff to make a living. It's not, because I wouldn't be doing this the way I am if it wasn't for 9/11. I would have been doing the commercial photography jobs I was doing, and then graduating into commercials, and then directing commercials, and maybe small features, and maybe I would have been a guy making a Marvel movie. That in my alternate timeline, if I'm not so affected by 9/11, that maybe what would have evolved for me. So
I understand. No, I get it. And again, do you ever know Seth Kushner, New York photographer? He and Douglas, oh God, now I'm forgetting Douglas's last name. They made a really good coffee table book where they did or Chris Irving. It was Seth Kushner, Chris Irving. They made this amazing book of interviews with guys from the golden age all the way up to the modern age. And I can't remember the name of it, unfortunately. But Seth was hit by the same problems with, the folding of magazines and newspapers and everything else that was in the fallout of 9/11.
Right. And it was also that moment that coincided with the advent of the digital technology. And like, I was a tradesman, I was a craftsman. You show me a layout, my art creative director, art director shows me a layout, and he says, this is the set and the model, and that's what I delivered on film in a transparency. So I was technically adept at that, and talented as a director, and bringing the most out of my subjects and the people that I worked with. So, but when digital came in, it shifted. It's like, oh, we can put this there, we can put that there, we can do this there, and it's like, well, yeah, it was
no, it happened to me. It happened to me with radio. With I used to write commercials. AI can do 80% of what I used to do, 80%, but still more than enough to take me out of the business. But anyway, here, speaking of business, you wanted to talk about the business of the business. Why don't you explain your thesis there?
Well, like I said, I mean, I have one of the most broad-based businesses in comics and art out there. Well, it's not one of, it is the most broad-based businesses. So, I mean, we sell, $3, $4, $5 comic books on eBay. I sell dollar books at my family-friendly store. We sell toys, all the way up to six-figure art deals. So, and so it's been a good year. I've had some, comic books have, not come back from their high during the lockdown, where everything was, worth a lot more. I mean, they're still kind of struggling at price points. Even keys, they like have.
Yeah, go on. No, I'm curious because that's I didn't realize. You see, Anthony, honestly, I'm outside of the collecting business, so I rely on people like you to tell me. So there has been a decline since that pandemic boom.
Oh yeah, big time. And so, huh?
You were saying about you were going to give an example of
a
key issue.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's just a. I've just been putting more and more of my. If a collection comes to me, fine, of comics, but I'm just not pounding the pavement for comic book collections right now. I spend all my resources into art, and because when I was doing a show every week of the Dueling Dealers on Comic Art Fans, I had to have new material, a new broad base of material every week, and that I was good at it. I got it done, and now it's like we're not doing as many Dueling Dealer shows. I have one this week where we're going to do an amateur versus professional show where against my friend Michael Lovitz. He's got a great collection and he's selling stuff as well. I think we all get to this point where we're getting more and more acquainted with our own mortality, so we become looser with our materialism. And I especially, that's true for me because I have a wife and 3 sons. They all still live at home. Even
Okay.
One of them works full time. One of them works part time. For me, he's an artist. But my oldest son is a Lego master at the Lego park nearby. He's the Lego master, and we're very proud of him. Cool. He's an employee with healthcare and the whole works, and he's in charge of all the Legos. So he's an artist. My middle son went to Joe Kubert School. He's an artist. And my youngest son, who seems to have gotten more of my business sense, he's in school for business administration, in college, taking business classes. And he wants to, educate me about how to run my business.
Great. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Now, here, this is good. Carrie has a good question regarding part of your business. What's your take on the huge amount of variant covers that are out there? Are they worth investing in, or are they just nice if you enjoy the artist?
Right. I've seen different phases of comic books along the way as far as the variant situation. In the 90s, it became very prolific where they did golds and foils and holograms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And now it's just like there's 5 or 6 issues by different artists of the same book. And, one might get hot and pay for the rest. But, I think, when people ask me, oh, what should I invest in with art? I'm like, well, no, that's not it. It's like, what do you like? What do you want to look at on a daily basis? And then you can't go wrong with that. It's like, sometimes the entry level stuff in the market today is tough. Like these new variant artists, they want $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for their covers.
For
right
their
off
originals.
the bat.
Yeah.
And, a lot of that stuff I don't really want to get involved in because, I could pay, $3,000 and try to get 4, but it's not that easy. For $4,000, you could still get a 70s Gil Kane cover.
Is it more smart to get a sketch cover because that is such a high-end investment? And how do sketch covers?
I do a lot of business in sketch covers. I part of my selling shows on Instagram involves sketch covers. Sketch covers are fun because you have the comic book and then you have the art on the outside. And when I was repping artists like Esad and Alex Malev and J.D. Jones, like good draw, A-list artists.
Sure.
We developed, painted commissions and such like that. And then, sketch covers and such. Yeah. So, but, but even those guys, they might charge $300, $400, $500, $600 for a sketch cover. And I'm like, that's not going to be, very, fluid or solvent, when you're paying that much to start, from one of those variant artists. So I would say just like, buy what appeals to you, buy what you want to look at on a daily basis. that's, but that's a collector mentality. If you're a real flipper and want to get something done with the collection, then you gotta. It's like anything. It's like stock market. It's like, do you get?
Yes.
An example of that would be like I like Peach Momoko when she was selling. Her husband was selling her stuff for her, and I'd hit him up and buy 5, 6, 7 covers from him at a time that were between $1,000 and $2,000. Now, that doesn't exist anymore, so I can't.
The market's gone down.
No, it's gone way up.
Excuse
got
me.
really hot.
Okay. All right. So I was going to say. All right, I assume
a
that.
Superstar.
Yes, she has, absolutely.
Okay.
It's like, but again, you bought them because you liked them, and or did you sense it?
I thought her style, it was really appealing. It was very feminine. It was very creative, and it appealed to my inner child. Let's say, but I thought it was worth investing in, and but I got to know her at the right time, So but there's other artists that get hot like that, and then then they tail off, and they're. I'm not going to say the flavor of the month, but they might be the flavor of the year.
Yeah, look at all the 90s guys that were a big deal. And today, good luck if this generation is aware of them. And I mean, and again, no disrespect to their talent, because the talent is still there, but they're not hot like they were when, like you said, they were the flavor of the moment.
Well, yeah. Well, the Image guys were a huge influence on the industry as a whole.
Sure.
And, Todd has kept himself relevant with having the most successful indie book in history with Spawn, and he's very proud of that. I did an hour-long interview with him at a toy fair where he had his toys, and all he wanted to talk about was Spawn hitting that record 300 issue, I think, that it became the longest-running indie comic ever. And Rob, He's self-promoted himself very well. He does streaming shows, and become very relevant with the Deadpool movies, because he's co-creator of Deadpool, and then has really capitalized on that to become back to the forefront of this.
Absolutely. Anthony, what do you think of and I don't know, from a collector's standpoint, the crowdfunded Kickstarter books or some of these others, original art from them, and covers and things? Do you ever deal in that stuff? Have you looked at that stuff as a possible investment?
I had one experience with it that left a bad taste in my mouth, so I just have not gone back to it. As far as my own initiative, I've never done it. I wanted, when I had an opportunity to do something, I don't know, man. It's just
well, what I mean is, I understand from a personal standpoint of you doing a crowdfunding thing, but what I'm asking is, let's, like, for instance, Ramita Jr. right now and Mark Miller are doing their not Psychic Sand. Forgive me, everybody. I forget the title right now. I know Sam is part of it, but all right, those are two big marketable names. Johnny's got 3 covers that he's going to do. There's interior art for 3 issues. As a person that sells original art, would that stuff be of interest to you to possibly get to flip and sell?
Probably not, honestly.
No, I understand. And is it because it doesn't have the recognizable, is it the characters that really obviously pushes the
Marvel? Is it Marvel? Is it DC? Is it, I think what it comes down to is that anybody that's really interested in that will be getting it from them. And then how am I going to profit from that on a secondary market? If somebody buys a page for $1,000 and then, they want to get out of it or whatever. And, I paid $1,000 for it. When somebody, tries to sell me stuff and said, well, I paid $1,000, it's like, okay, well, that's retail of what an end user is supposed to pay.
Sure.
That's not wholesale.
I'm hip. Right. You've got to make your money to move it. I respect that.
Yeah. I mean, my experience with crowdfunding is I just don't see how you can please that many people in the situation. And, I try to make customers and keep them. I don't try to okay, let's burn through this, 100 people or something like that. No, I'm serious.
Yeah. No, I understand. It's a repeat business. I absolutely understand, man. Well, Alex Ross Art is one of my sponsors, and certainly, yeah, man. No, they build up relationships with guys that love Alex's stuff, and they're willing to pay for a process page or an original page or cover. So I get it.
Yeah, I used to, that commercial. I used to have Kingdom Come pages all the time. I had great Kingdom Come pages.
Really? Wow.
It's my wife. Look at you.
Hey, there she is. Hi, Sharon. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. Look at you all decked out in your Christmas sweater. That's awesome.
Here.
You want to sit down a second? It's cold.
I was telling Anthony before we started, I saw your photo. I don't know when it was from, when you had your Scarlet Witch headpiece on, and I was cracking up.
Well, it's probably a year or so ago.
Was it? There you go. Excellent.
Yeah, that's from Doing Dealers, where she is my more than a sidekick. She's my whole kick.
Sharon, how has it been watching how the business has changed? Both of you, really. Because there you go. Yeah, so there you go. EGB, JP, Cake Break. There you go. Indeed.
Okay.
But isn't it kind of, as an observer and everything? And I really don't know how. I mean, I see you working the booth and everything when you're at shows.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think of everything that's been going on?
I'm just amazed at Anthony and all that he's done. I mean, he's just like, I don't know how he does it. He's always working. He's always trying to make things better. He's always trying to get new stuff. He's always,
MSH.
Make shit happen.
They gotta make shit happen.
Absolutely. Very
well,
good.
I love the hustle. I mean, I was working today. I went and I shoveled the guy's driveway that is pretty much disabled, but I know he's got stuff, and I had an ulterior motive, that kind of thing.
Did you walk away with some key books?
Excuse me. No
problem. Too much, man. No, I know you guys are dealing with the snow by you. I was telling Anthony we got hit with snow earlier, and now we're in the deep freeze where we were in single digits today and yesterday. Oh, yeah. What are you gonna do? That's
I'm gonna try to find that CBS show. You don't want me to play it on the thing?
No, I'd be afraid of demonetizing and everything, man. It's copyright material. But no, I'll look it up. I'll absolutely look it up. I promise you. I think that's fantastic.
Well, they actually gave him credit where credit is due, so that was the fun part of it.
I think that's huge. Yeah. No, it is.
When I had my photography career and she was modeling, it was very, we were very separate. But as the years have gone on and this business has grown, and her participating with me on the streaming shows and stuff like that, we actually work together now, and that wasn't the way it was back in the day. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so that's fun. I
didn't know about your. Oh, I'm sorry. Please say that again.
I feel like
together. I was going to ask you. I didn't know about your modeling background. Forgive me. I'm not surprised now that I know, but I got to ask because I never get a chance to. I've met a handful of models over the years, but I've never really asked. Was it a pain in the ass doing print ads? I mean, was it an all day kind of thing? If you got to pose and do your thing?
It depended on the client and everything, but for the most part, I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Cool. She did runway and hair shows and all different and showroom. There was
that's what I was going to say. Were you at events as kind of a promotional kind of in a promotional appearance capacity?
I got to do Toy Fair a couple of times. That was a really fun.
But that was just when she was starting out.
Yeah, when I was starting out, that's what I did.
Wow.
and hair shows. That was a thing. I've been every hair color you can imagine.
Where's that poster of you as?
Yeah.
Where?
Oh, if you got one, that's great. I'll zoom in. This is great, guys. Truly, we see each other a couple times a year at shows, and I don't get a chance to hear these kind of stories. This is
Okay, so this is a billboard. Well, it was of the best job she ever did. So she was Mel, the Tanqueray Sterling vodka girl.
Hilarious. Look at that. Look at that. Fantastic. Rocking the Dorothy Hamill.
The old guy that was the gin, but she was the hot young thing that was the vodka. And
very classy.
Heads out, stuff like that.
Very classy. I
You're
like
hiding this. I want to see it.
Outstanding. Sharon, you got to make prints of that and sell it at the booth. Come on.
We have a bunch of postcards of them.
That's excellent.
From the old thing. They used to give them out at restaurants.
This was a huge campaign. I mean, she got paid really well for it. And then she got pregnant and never worked again.
Well, then AJ worked. He worked for Macy's and Eddie Bauer, and he was in a couple newspaper ads too, magazines, parenting and things like that. So AJ modeled also. And then we moved out here.
Hilarious. That's fantastic. What shows are you guys going to do in 26?
All right. So, we have OAX, that I'm a sponsor of now. I just did a deal for sponsorship of OAX, the Bill's Original Art Show in Florida and Orlando. I think that's the
end of January.
Yeah, that's the first major one we'll do in the year. And then, actually, isn't it in February this year?
I think it's February.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
And then Chicago and, the summer shows, North Carolina.
And San Diego.
Yep.
Baltimore.
You guys gonna do Connecticut again? Are you gonna be?
Yeah, I always do Connecticut. I get along with Mitch. I respect Mitch. So
and it's at the casino.
Yay! I know. Believe me, I tell my friends that are creators that never did it. I'm like, listen, it's great, and it's like if you don't like gambling, that's fine because it's got all the other amenities that a casino will have, and people who aren't in the hobby don't realize that it's a great time regardless. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah. But I usually don't. I mean, when I go play, it's because I want to block out that time to go play.
I understand.
Like I might go play tomorrow, and I'll leave work at 3 and go to Parks, which is only an hour and 15 minutes, and that's that mixed game. That's that I like to play. It's just not boring, It's cool. Games you've never heard of, but I mean, they're mainstream. It's a mainstream mixed game they call it, where we play hold'em, stud high, stud low, stud high, high low, Omaha high low, Padoogie. Do you know what Padoogie is?
I do not, but I know the others certainly. Yeah. Go on.
And then triple draw.
That sounds like you made it up. Padoogie sounds.
Yeah, Padoogie. I didn't know what Pai Gow was until I started going to casinos, so I understand.
Padoogie's a triple draw game with you're trying to make the best low. Ace 2, 3, 4. It's a 4-card. It's a 4-card draw game, and then triple draw is a 5-card draw game, and they're both low. You're not playing high. We're playing low. So Ace 2, 3, 4 is the best low, but they have to be. This is the catch, and this is the real. They have to be different suits to be a
sure. So all 4 suits have to be represented in the 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah. That's cool. Hey, see, an education. Man, you missed Sharon. You missed mob talk.
Oh, I did.
I'm sure you get it on a regular basis anyway. Well, I have to match you sometime, guys, with my family background, my colorful family background. There's a few skeletons in there, so it cracks me up. Cool. It's always good. It's always good holiday conversation at the dinner table. There you go. Oh, is it always buying? Attaboy.
Yeah.
Attaboy.
Well, my dad changed his name from Demetrios Georgios Sinodinos. So my real name would be Adonis Sinodinos.
And mine is Ioannis Suntris. So yeah,
Okay.
Suntris, proper pronunciation.
Yeah,
So,
right. There's the American way to. I mean, all my cousins say Sinodinos, but it would be Sinodinos, in the Greek.
yes.
So, yeah, it's
Oh, absolutely.
different pronunciation.
I blew it when I was. Go ahead.
Mhm.
What were you going to say?
Carrie Lee Sanders says she's going to Terrificon. I'm out front. I set up out front by the snack bar. I like that spot. It's enough room for me, and it's out front. And I already took care of that with Mitch for next year. We're definitely going to be there.
Yeah.
Attaboy. That's good to know.
Aaron gets to come, and we get to
Yay.
go. It's just not that.
Sharon, are you going to come to Chicago or no?
Have you been to Chicago?
I don't think I've ever been to Chicago.
Oh, Sharon, you got to come sometime. The food here is amazing.
I love Chicago.
Why do you think I'm so fat? You got good food over here, man. You got to come.
I don't get out of the hotel is the problem. We stay in that hotel.
Not for dinner or anything? No. It's hard. I understand because you guys got to close down and everything.
Yeah, and I'm tired, and
yeah, I understand that too.
It's work. It's like
Oh, I understand. Totally understand, guys. Because truly, I mean, the cities I go to outside and everything, it's great that everything is there at Mohegan Sun for Terrificon, so it's easy. But no, I hear what you're saying, and I mean, even my nonsense, just them seeing panels all day, I get wiped out. So I understand. I can relate. And you guys are really working. You're selling. That's all right.
We should do a live panel and about the business of the business. Tell Mitch that you want to do one.
Well, you got the better end than I do, man. You're paying him money, so your influence will talk better than me.
He's got so much going on. What do you usually cover there?
Last summer, I did a one-on-one with Mark Silvestri. I did Daredevil Post Miller with Ralph and Innocenti and Johnny Jr. And we did a Fantastic Four panel with everybody. Walter was on that, Claremont was on that, but Hickman was on it too, and CB was on it, Cebulski. So yeah, I usually do a lot. I mean, Carrie also does panels. Her group Splash Pages, she's on a podcast. But yeah, I did like 8 or 9 panels over the weekend.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. Oh, I love it, man.
Again, I would say that, hey, I could contribute to stuff like that, but I'm too busy yet. I'm at my booth.
You gotta sell, buddy. Yeah. You're working.
MSH.
Make the donuts. No. And again, isn't another thing, guys? Isn't it interesting from where you guys started, and now you can do streaming shows and do your Instagram videos and everything? I mean, that's got to help the business to be able to have that kind of direct sales opportunity and that kind of
Definitely.
And it's got to help that I'm so damn good at it.
Yeah.
No, I've helped a lot of guys in my competition into retirement because they see how bad they are at it. So I'll be frank about that. Yeah. Well,
that's great.
Instagram with a guy I met out in California. His name's Kevin. He's got good personality, and we've been starting that up. And then Bill and I started doing dealers with Berkey during the lockdown, and that was very successful during the lockdown. But as people have more choices in the business on a daily basis, it's there's a lot of competition out there. So
sure there is. No, I see it on video too. That's why I'm glad I started on audio, because and listen, everybody that's watching, I love the fact that you're watching, but I know that there are more of you listening than watching, and I appreciate it. That's why I've been doing this for 20 years, and I'm still able to do a good show and get good people on, like Sharon and Anthony.
Yay, my better 9/10. Yay.
Here you go. Excellent. That's great, guys. Well, again, what day are you going to be on doing dueling?
Wednesday at 9:00 Eastern. We have a show this week. And then we've been doing Thursday shows on Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram at Anthony's Comic Book Art, I love to see everybody there. because I love Instagram. I think all my social, well, it's business media starts with Instagram, and I got nothing but customers there, so that's the way I like it. So yeah, follow me on Instagram. And is that the dog? Anyway, yeah, if you want to wrap things up, that's cool.
Yeah, buddy. There you go.
So, really enjoyed talking to you. It's like it's tough for me to find intelligent conversation in the day-to-day world, and with you, that brings out my higher intellect. I love it. Thank you.
Well, it's my pleasure. I hope I was able to stimulate you intellectually. That's fantastic.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
No,
I
appreciate
the best in me the way she brings out the best in me for other reasons. It's like
outstanding. Sharon, great to see you.
I'd love to do shows with you anytime and talk about the business of the business, and whatever else you like. I want to touch on with the old school stuff. OG stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. No, absolutely. We can talk Bronze Age comics anytime, man. Absolutely happy to do it. You know that.
Love the Bronze Age. Like there's like 20, 30 portfollios here, and it's just all full of Bronze Age stuff.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We can open up your albums.
Your
and you can show some great stuff. Absolutely, that's a good idea for next time. Let's do that.
Okay.
We can count on that.
And then people want to say, "Oh, I want that. How much is that?" And I don't want to sell it.
Well,
as a professional dealer, it's like I try not to show anything that I don't want to sell because people get.
I understand. I respect that. Well, regardless, people that are watching know that the link to contact Anthony, go to his website, check out his collection there. His email is also in the description. So if you do see something you're interested in, you've got a way of buying it that way. And I'll do the same in the audio description of this. But it's fantastic to catch up with the Snyders this holiday season. So so Sharon, Anthony, thank you very much.
Elf. Oh,
yeah, she looks great, man. Absolutely. There we go. Zoom in. There we go. Very cute.
Yay.
Look at that. Oh,
always doing merry deals. We got specials running on the eBay store, Anthony's Comic Book Art Online, and then on the most negotiable art dealer in the country. So let me know if with once from the website. And then tune in on my streaming shows on Comic Art Fans at Wednesday at 9, and we've been doing Thursday at 8 on Instagram.
There you go, on Anthony's comicbookart.com and Anthony's Comic Book Art for the channel on Instagram. Excellent talk, guys. Thank you very much. Everybody, thanks for watching. Tomorrow I'm going to talk to Ed Cato because he's got his wonderful book for Through Tomorrow's Retro Fan, an excellent magazine, and we talk about what's inside of that and a lot more as we approach the holidays here at Word Balloon. So thanks for watching. Until next time, everybody, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.